Obviously, the answer is to erase history, which means we probably won't repeat it. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday. Oh my God, June's almost over. It is June the 28th, and well, I guess we're doing everything we can to erase the history of this country. Obviously, we're seeing a dramatic turn, and I guess we should call up Mao Zedong and create the new republic, the Communist Republic of the United States, and erase everything that happened. We know that the Holocaust never happened. We know that nothing bad ever happened in this country. So let's just erase it so we can start over and not learn from the past, but let's recreate it. What we all know how that would end out. Okay. You know, I think the biggest mistake I think we're making here is everyone wants to try to erase what has happened, which can't be done, instead of trying to learn from it. You know, we have many issues that will eventually be solved at some point. But at the end of the day, you cannot go back and erase everything. And now the words are they want to take out master bedroom out of your home or the football game Civil War. I mean, really? Is that what we've come down to? That it's the word. So I guess if your last name is white or black, you have to remove it and change your name. You know, I mean, this is getting to a place of ridiculousness of what we're trying to get done here. Instead of trying to learn and create a better environment for everybody. Okay, we're toppling statues, we're replacing names. There's guys who, you know, there's people, not just guys, who said things that, you know, 100 years ago that at the time were what they were, and now, while we're going back and trying to destroy what has already happened. Okay. Again, you cannot do that, and if you want to erase history, you'll make sure you'll damn repeat it, and it will be ugly. Okay, remember how it works, and just take a look at some of the countries that have tried to do that. And if you take a good look, you'll see that this is obviously a pretty severe mistake, because again, it's the same as markets. Okay. Those who don't learn from what happened in the market in the past are going to make the same mistakes they made before. And of course, but let the big money take over here so they can continue to rob from the poor and give to the rich. Okay, I mean, again, this is not a good situation. We are not seeing a good situation. And in the meantime, just a side note, you know, about those great big voices out there, LeBron James, Colin Kaepernick, Steve Kerr, Paul Popovich, and others. Listen, when it came to China matters, the worst in human rights in the world, they have crickets. Oh, because they want to make the money. Okay, so it seems to me that although they think they're trying to pretend their intentions are so great, okay, I think it's more about money. Okay, that would be my opinion here. Whether you agree or disagree, that would be my opinion. Okay, of what we're seeing with a lot of this, and again, the overall turmoil being created here, to me, is, you know, again, it's trying to erase what has happened. And of course, we don't, in our school systems, we don't teach kids both sides of the aisle. We don't teach kids things like this. We don't, you know, but most schools are left to begin with. Okay. And so again, that is the ideals that we teach from the beginning. So, hey, you know, again, we'll see what happens. But, you know, in my eyes, this whole thing is not good. I think you have to learn and make it better from what you've done in the past, just like any relationship you may have had. You know, I mean, you cannot go back and change what you did. You have to fix it going forward. But we'll see. In the meantime, you know, I love the excuse making from the pundits about why markets go down. there's not an issue of that we've actually overpriced everything in here. This is not possibly a bubble, is it? Okay. I mean, really, you really think that we have not created just another bubble, another Fed and their magic money tree that continues to, what's next? Are they going to start buying ETFs this week? This is so ridiculous what's going on here. And again, it's no different than the 90s, and it will not end in a pretty picture. Okay. But again, you're now allowing the same things back that you did in '08. Okay, you're letting banks get involved in venture capital, and we all know what happens when that blows up, don't we? Did we not learn? I mean, did we not learn from the history of the past? Okay, did we not learn that that at the end, when the banks blow everything up once again, okay, with all their money and trying to, make those big bonuses, do we not learn how it ends once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times? I mean, again, this is not new. And again, between all the active day trading that's going on from people who have no clue, that are just chasing markets around with nothing else to do, to the free money that you're seeing floated around, to the expansion of markets to valuations that could never be matched, and knowing that earnings are starting in the next couple of weeks, okay? Are we going to really see that this is going to be a new boom, okay? Or is this going to be the same old bust once again? Now we know, okay, and listen, we're big supporters of the equity markets. So we believe that the markets are going to continue to rise at 8 to 8.5% year over year, just not every year. But of course, a lot of these valuations become extremely priced out. And I think that's what you're seeing here. I mean, just crazy movement. And I thought we saw, starting, last week a little bit, some of that bubble starting to potentially pop. Now, again, we're not going to predict when it's going to be over. It certainly could last longer than it is right now. I'm not telling you it's going to be over tomorrow. I mean, we'll talk about our positions in the markets when we get to that segment of the show. But I think that the very fact that the pundits make excuses because of the virus, we knew the virus was a problem to begin with. We knew that the country at best is only 25 to 30% open. So what you're seeing now is you're seeing the driving that, well, everything's going to be okay. And I'm sure that everything will be okay, but will it be okay tomorrow? And will it be okay to what they're valuing stocks at right now? Can the Fed continue to pour money in? And I think that is something that you have here. And I think you look at, if you remember the movie The Big Short, is this the next Big Short? And again, certainly there is no way to say that this is the absolute top of the market, because if you do, you're a fool. Okay? If you try to call it top, you're a fool, because at the end, as I can tell you from personal knowledge and from real money losses, okay, I thought that in the 90s that it was a bubble, and of course got caught short late in the 90s, maybe 6 months too early, and couldn't take the pressure. So again, I warn you of these things, because the overexcitement being created here is going to be a much bigger problem. And the real problem is going to be that we, the taxpayer, are once again going to get to help bail out everybody, okay? And, I think when you look at what's going on, and you have to wonder, it makes you kind of scratch your head that we can see the NASDAQ making all-time new highs, okay? We got to scratch your head and wonder, okay, well, look at all the people that are living at home now. I mean, children and parents living with the grandparents. I mean, this is the new age of what we see now. All right. Now, again, there's a lot of good things about what's going on. Okay. Look, we're certainly happy to see growth. We're certainly happy to see this country start to get open again. But between the turbulence and the defund the police movements, okay, again, we want to get rid of police as well now. I mean, again, there's 850,000 officers in the United States. Okay. So are they all bad? All right. How many of you would go out there and put your life on the line every day for probably between $60,000 and $70,000 a year, if that much? Okay, I don't know what their salaries are exactly, but how many of you would go out there? And yes, is there bad cops? Yeah, but there's bad athletes. There's bad CEOs. There's bad at everything. Okay, so we want to take away all of our protections. Okay, so that we can, think that we're doing something of greatness when, at the end of the day, police protect you. Okay, police take care of you and keep the country safe. What are you going to do without them? It's the same as the people that say, well, let's get rid of the Second Amendment without guns. Okay, I mean, again, you can call whatever you want. Okay, but I believe that what we're seeing here is we've talked about this for years. If we go back to my radio show, and there's going to be a revolution here, and it's going to happen again, and it'll always come down to money. And when you continue to allow the very rich to keep getting richer, and you keep taking from the poor, which is really what's happening, if you look at it, okay, you can see where the money is going, and the poor, are not participating as they should be. And you want to talk about equal rights and benefit? There's where we should be focusing on. Is getting everybody to work, not focusing on the free money fed and focusing on Wall Street all day long. That is indeed where the issues come back into play. As you look and see the overall problems, that's where the problems begin. Not where we have, listen, it's great to have markets going up. Listen, I own a lot of stock. I'm thrilled that the markets are going up. But you cannot continue to push down people. You have to allow them to rise with everything else. And that has not been the case, and it has not been the agenda of the Federal Reserve. Now, you can all look at me like I'm nuts, but you cannot just focus on one part of the economy and one investing group. You have not allowed people to be able to invest because you continue to put interest rates at zero. So this does not end in a good situation. This is going to end extremely ugly, as always. But when you allow some manipulation, which is, again, you take away the free market, you take away the ability for the markets to price themselves, and you force prices, well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to see a meltdown. And that is about as simple as it gets. A meltdown is coming. Again, who knows when? I mean, again, I'm not going to predict when, but it's obvious to see, and certainly the unrest does not help anything as well. In the meantime, let's see what happens. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and of course, I want to remind you, that yesterday we did a great webinar on our micro mini futures portfolios, which have been put up some more new highs once again. And if you'd like to see a recording of that, just shoot me an email at bubba@bubbatrade.com, and our commodities report from Andy Hecht, who is the #1 author at Seeking Alpha, also one of the biggest silver traders in the world at one point, and a world-class, worldwide commodities trader of physical commodities. Brand new report, technical. Go to bubbatrade.com, check it out. And of course, our brand new brokerage, not brand new, but our brokerage partners, CTG for futures and commodities. Unbelievable, great customer service, letter direction trading for all of our products in the futures industry. They've got new products of their own. You got to check them out. And Tradier for equities. I mean, they do a phenomenal job with their stuff. And of course, we're tied into their API for all of our automated programs. I urge you to check them out. You want information, email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. And our high school program that we're in the process of rebuilding right now for the new school year, Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. And let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and me, Todd Bubba Horwitz. Welcome back to Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz with you. And well, I tell you, what a week. I mean, the markets got hammered late. Once again, another beat down late. And of course, as you know, as we tell you our positions every day when we do the updates, we are still short the Dow, the S&P, and the Russell. We are still long the NASDAQ. And I would suspect that another big down day and the NASDAQ will switch as well. But it does appear that the winds and the trends, they are changing. And I think that this is something, okay, that you can expect. And this is typically how it happens. Markets don't announce themselves and just suddenly change and go up or go down. Typically, you get almost like some blow-off type action at the end of any move on the up or the down. This looks like we saw it over the last couple of weeks, the end of the up. And again, we're not predicting. And again, I will be happy if the markets change and I've got to change and go long, I will change. So again, these are all, I'm giving you, first of all, based on what I see in the charts, but also based on the algorithm of what I'm expecting. Now, certainly, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce early in the week because we've got, we sold off to pretty tough support in the NASDAQ, in the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P, and Russell. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce, but I think that will be more of a sellable bounce that will break the bottoms the next time it goes down there. Now, it's an interesting week also because you've got the quarter end, you've got month end, and you've got the Russell rebalancing. So there's a lot of quirks in here, and I think jobs Thursday as well. So there's a lot of quirks here that can kind of throw the markets into a little bit of either a real crash, not a crash, but a real push down or a push up. So we have to kind of watch that information and see how the street reacts to it. But overall, I think we look pretty bad right now. I think you're going to see, you've got earnings coming out, which can't be good. Now, they might be better than expected, but remember, the problem is that we put the bars so low that it's not hard to beat those expectations, but you have to produce. Free money from the Fed does not create jobs. It does not help inventory. It does not really get a product. So that's only a partial helping solution to continue to keep the free money rolling out. So we'll see, but again, you can see in our positions that they're starting to get more negative and turning over, which means that it looks like we might be ready to make that breakdown, which would coincide with everything we're talking about today. Metals, beautiful. I mean, again, we thought that, gold had looked kind of weak. Now, we stayed long, gold and silver and short platinum, but we had thought gold was starting to look kind of weak. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, gold exploded and tried to test the 1800 level. Silver exploded. And they both looked really bad on Friday and then came charging back like a great horse. And platinum continues to go down. So working beautifully with our overall positions. Oil continues. It still has not been able to get through that 40 level. Now, I would suspect, although we're long oil, I would suspect that we'll be reversing this week at some point. To me, it looks like you've got between the additional closing in places now, which will knock down demand for oil. It'll probably take away some of the hope as well. I think you might see some selling here. And again, we're not that far away, I don't think, from a reversing signal. And I think you'll also see, I don't think we're going through 40. That's the way that I see it from here. So we'll continue to watch. Again, I'll stay exactly with the algorithm, whatever it says, it says. But again, from my own personal opinion, I think it could be going lower. Now, bonds were long bonds, and I hate being long here. I don't know. I'm not particularly a fan, but they did go up, and they're up last week, and they could continue again if we do get what we think we might get, which might be some panic. That will certainly drive bonds higher and notes. So we'll see where we go from here. And again, like I said, I'm not going to fade, but certainly I can make a case that bonds have possibly a little bit more higher to go before selling off. Copper continues to run away, and that's kind of unusual. I certainly like the way it's going up, obviously, because we're long. I do think that, and plus the way it's going up, it's pulling up the reversal signal faster, because I see that if everything else comes out to play, I would suspect copper's got to turn to be fairly ugly as well at some point. So again, remember, if we look at the environment, then if building's going to slow, if money's going to slow, if the economy's going to crumble a little bit for a while, then that would probably take care of some copper too. Natural gas continues to get beat up. Now, again, we're still short it. Certainly, it's at prices that it's really hard to want to be short. But again, I will follow the algorithm, but it's certainly not, it's so inexpensive or cheap that it's interesting to watch it trade. And the dollar, again, we reversed in our long dollars, and the dollars now have reached back to resistance. No surprise if it has a little bit of a pullback. But once again, you can see, we were short for quite a while, and the dollar tried to fight. The Fed tried to continue to pressure it. And now that the Fed's out for the moment, the dollar is now rising again, which just tells you, the dollar is still a fair asset. Big money flows to U.S. dollars because we're the reserve currency. So there's a lot of things that are happening throughout. And of course, the poor farmers. It is the last week for the grains was just pathetic, disgusting. Corn continued. Now again, it didn't make new low. It did make new lows in December, which is ugly. But the front contract July did not, and of course that's gone now. But that was the one that I was gauging on. But it is bad. But here's the issue. Now we're short corn, but it's such an inexpensive. Now it doesn't mean it can't get cheaper, but typically in commodities, low prices will cure low prices, and we'll see. Soybeans are probably going to reverse. If another down day before an up day, I would assume we'll get short beans, and of course we remain short wheat, which is broken down. So it's been really an ugly situation in the grain markets. And again, will they switch? I mean, like I said, I'd love to be long them, but again, I will continue to play and hold the algorithm as is. The meats, corn fats and feeders, cattle have been, okay, they're holding, which is a good thing, and I think they're going to go a lot higher. But of course, if there is a big slowdown again, that will be a problem. One of the big problems in the farming industry is there's so much oversupply and not enough demand. That's never a good mix. And of course, again, there's been some issues in between production and delivery, okay, and usage that have created some other problems as well. So we'll have to continue to watch. Again, right now we're still long both fats and feeders. Hogs, we continue to be short, and they just continue to get pounded. And we're zero. At some point there's zero, but you are starting to see really in the hog market a little bit more of a bullish formation going forward from these prices. And again, I'd love to be a buyer of hogs, and I will be when the algorithm changes, but I'd like to be there sooner rather than later. But again, we'll see what that looks like. But there are so many things this week that again can handle and deal with markets. Like I said, you've got the rebalancing in the Russell, you've got the end of month, end of quarter, the jobs number. So there's a lot of things here that can drive these markets crazy. But I think one of the things that you should remember, keep in the back of your mind of warning, back to when we were talking about the bubblish stuff, and you've got, Canada, the Bank of Canada is easing their monetary policies. Our banks continue to get free money, and I guess I spoke last week and said on the lending rate of 10-1, there is no rate. They can lend as much as they want. So I think that, again, to me, those are never good signs. To me, that picture is always ugly. And again, it never ends well when you have this type of policy. This is a ridiculous policy which is being created, which really in effect is a bubble creating policy. Okay, Alan Greenspan started it in the 80s, and of course it's been carried on by Bernanke, Yellen, and now Powell, who I thought was really a streetwise guy, and he became someone who had no common sense the minute he got into the glass tower. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. Again, we're not going to predict. We're going to trade just the way we have. We've done extremely well, and certainly not going to change now. Just continue to follow the way markets go. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz. We're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be back with more in my comments after the break. And here we go. Well, guys, listen. Our brokerage partners are really awesome. And I'm just telling you that, hey, you want to check them out. CTG for commodities and futures. They handle all of our letter direction trading. They've got some of their own nice new products. Now, I've got accounts other places, but that's where my main trading is done with them. And they do such a phenomenal job. But I love is obviously the customer service. It's a big thing in this industry. If you need somebody, you got to be able to call them. they're on the phone with you. You don't get the voicemail. And of course, Tradier for equities, same thing. They are on top of their game. They help you. They handle it. And again, $10 a month flat. How can you beat that? Right? You have to love that. And of course, we tie into their API for a lot of our automated products. So, and really exciting. And we have a really exciting adventure. Also, we are now going to partner with family farms, and I'll have more details during the week of what we're going to do with them. But that is going to be a lot of fun. And I love the group from Family Farms, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to do a lot of things there. So we'll have more information for you as the week goes on. And of course, don't forget about our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horwitz. Of course, every week I give you a little bit of what I'm thinking. Of course, I kind of give it to you the whole time through. But, I always look, and, obviously with the markets starting to sell off, we've all seen a lot of the advertising out there. And it breaks my heart to watch all this. I'm not going to mention names, but you all know who they are. But all this phony crap that's out there, that's driven with fear to force you to spend your money on something that will never make money. And to me, I just want to give you a warning to be careful before you start signing up for all these great programs that promise you the world and have never delivered a thing. I think the fear mongers will be out in force, especially if this market continues lower. And of course, they'll be targeting anybody, because what are they really selling is that you can beat the next big meltdown. And they've got this secret to share with you to tell you how to beat it. And as you know from listening to me, it cannot be beat. You can be on the right side of it. But if you think there's something magic about it, that's a bunch of BS crap. So my warning to everybody is stay away from the fear mongers. Do not let them convince you that there is something that they can do that is magic. The only thing that is magic is what you can do by yourself to protect yourself and to understand the math and the logic behind what you're doing. Because other than that, all they're doing is taking your money. And again, I warn you, you can see it coming. I can see the ads already. It's coming to my email on a daily basis, multiple. So my warning to you is take a deep breath, study it, think about it, and ask yourself, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Have a great weekend, everybody. As always, I thank you for being a part of the show, and thanks for being here. We'll see you back here tomorrow with a Bubba's Daily Update. And in the meantime, have a great weekend. Stay healthy, and I hope things are great by you, and we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great day.